Hello everyone, today we're installing the siding on our 8x8 modern shed. We have some stone veneer installed on the bottom and lap siding on the top. This is a great way to get a good looking shed at a very low cost.
And before we start installing the siding, there are a few housekeeping activities we need to take care of. And the first being going around installing the soffit. And as far as soffit material, I'm actually using LP Smart Siding. And what I'm doing is ripping sections off the pedal board and using them inside the soffit. I find that this is the most economical approach to build out a soffit. And the end goal here is that when you install the soffit using the LP Smart Siding, you line up as best as you can the grooves. This will make a nice transition from wall to soffit. On the side of the shed, I ended up using two 4-foot sections and a small section to reach the front soffit. And in general, whenever installing this soffit, just make sure that you have somewhere to nail the soffit to, which means that you may shift to start a section on a stud and make sure that it ends on a stud. And the last thing we need to do before moving to installing the siding is make sure to install the trim on the corners of the shed.
And now that we completed the sides, the back, and the soffit of the shed, it's time to work on the front. But before you do, make sure that you go around caulking all the seams on the shed, the nail heads, and any of the exposed wood. You want to make sure you cover them up before you paint.
And to install this stone veneer, it's super simple and easy. This is probably the most DIY product that one can use to transform the shed. To attach the veneer to the wall, you need exterior screws. You simply screw one end of the veneer, and while making sure that it's level, you drive a second screw on the other end. To complete the install, you need to drive two more screws on the side and two more on the top. When it comes to cutting the veneer, it can be cut with pretty much anything. I'm using a circular saw just so I know I have a straight cut. You can finish it off with a regular hand saw, a multi-tool, or even a utility knife. Now, when it comes to installing odd-shaped veneers, I recommend the best approach is to use your own judgment. For this case, I'm adding couple screws to the side and couple screws on the top. And if necessary, you can also add screws on the face of the stone as long as you cover them up later with some gray color caulking. And as I start a new row, I always stagger the seams of the veneer. This will provide a random pattern as you build up. One thing I noticed is even though the material is waterproof, it's kind of fragile. You want to drive the screws just enough to hug the material snug. Be careful not to over tighten the screws. For this project, I ordered a total of 7 pieces of stone veneer. This allowed me to build up 4 rows, which comes out to about a 4-foot height. They do come in random patterns, and they have numbers molded into the veneer. This will help you play around with the veneer so you can mix up the patterns. And I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you know exactly where to find this material.
And now it's time to transition from the veneer over to our lap siding. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna use a trim that it's the same material as the veneer. We're gonna secure that to the wall. On the top of that, we're gonna flash it all across. And then only above the flashing is when we're gonna have a chance to install the lap siding. And if you didn't write that down, you don't need to worry about it because we've done a build plan that you can download for free, which is gonna walk you step by step on how to completely build this shed. And on top of that, there's a free material list so you know exactly what you purchased and where we are purchasing these materials. Make sure you check the description below or the QR code that's right here on your screen.
The stone veneer trim comes in 42 inches in length, so I ordered 2 pieces and cut them to fit. Remember that you're gonna have to caulk the screw heads later on. And the transition drip edge comes in 10-foot sections. We're gonna use the drip edge here, transition from stone veneer to lap siding and also above the doors and windows. And before you install the first row of lap siding, you're gonna need to rip one section about 2 inches tall and install that first. This will allow the lap siding to be installed at an angle, and whenever there's rain or water, this will drive the water outwards. And in order to save time, you can always bundle the lap siding together and cut them all at once. After the first row of lap siding is completely installed, you want to work on the second row. And the second row needs to be installed 5¼ inches from the bottom of the previous row. You want to use galvanized nails and you want to make sure to hit every stud. Also, it's crucial that as you move up, each row needs to be leveled. And one other thing, as you install lap siding, make sure to keep an eighth of an inch gap on the ends. That's because this material can expand. They do make a special clamp that keeps the spacing exactly 5¼ inches, so you don't have to measure every time. This comes in a pair and it costs around $50. I think for a small shed like this one, it's not worth it spending the $50. However, if you do have more siding work that you need done around the house, this $50 is well worth it, especially if you're working by yourself. And if you're not interested on buying new tools or climbing ladders, but you still want a high quality shed, we can definitely help you out. Just check the description below or scan the QR code right here on the screen and we're going to connect you with the trusted shed providers that can deliver a shed to you with a reliable warranty and the best price. I do recommend that you add drip edge above the door and the window. You should have enough drip edge left over to cover these two areas. One thing that's optional is that if you decide, you could add trim around the window. This will give a cleaner look. And after you finish installing the lap siding over the door and window, it's pretty much a straight shot home. This should go even much smoother if you have two ladders set up, one on each side. And once you get to the last row, you may have to rip the lap siding so it fits snug against the soffit. And at this point, you're gonna nail the lap siding as high as you can. And to cover up the nails, we're gonna install a piece of trim.
And there you have it. The siding is installed. All there's left to it is caulk all the seams, the nail heads, and throw a coat of paint on it. Make sure you do that in the next few days. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did building it because it was super fun. Make sure to grab your build plans in the description below. And if this is not the shed you want to build, we also have other sheds and plans available at everydayshed.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.